don't do this often when I'm talking, do this shit like all day.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Awkward Situations, the series where you guys leave comments about awkward situations, embarrassing stories, or anything else you want to talk about, and then I take those comments and discuss them in these videos. If you've been around here for a while, you would know that this is a gaming channel, and usually when I do this series, I have video game gameplay in the background. On last week's episode, I discussed how I hadn't been satisfied with that as a format. Well, I said I hadn't really been enjoying playing video games just to put them in the background of my video, and moreover, I wanted to try something new with Awkward Situations. So we're going to go for a format where there is no gameplay involved, might have a little bit of music in the background, I don't know, might get a little creative when I edit. Who knows what's going to happen? I hope it doesn't take away from the reason why you guys like it. I'm always open to constructive criticism in the comments, not, "This sucks bullshit." So I hope this format works. We could always go back to the old format or just continue to experiment with things, little of the old, little of the new. Who knows what's going to happen? I have 2 updates, and then I think I put up 5 situations that I wanted to go through today because I'm a little bit backed up on awkward situations. I've been seeing some good situations repeated in previous weeks, and sometimes I just don't do a situation because I like to think about it, and I'm not in a mood where I feel like I'll be able to give it serious thought. That sounds like I don't take this seriously. I play video games for a living. I guess I don't take a lot of things in my life seriously. However, there's some questions about I don't have money, or like I'm in a very difficult situation that I would need to think about, or I am hesitant to answer because I'm not a professional. Once again, this is a series meant for entertainment. I give advice, but I am not a professional. So thank you for sticking with me. I'm backed up on situations. We're going to do 5 today. I'm sorry if it's a longer episode, but I know some of you guys like that. So let's get into those first 2 updates right now, and then the awkward situations. As a reminder, the timestamps are listed below for everything I talk about. So if you get bored with something, you can look in the description, or someone usually comments mobile links if you're on mobile to click to skip ahead in the video. Our first update is from a comment on an episode a couple of weeks ago called Trashy Neighbor, in which the person commenting shot out his neighbor's light with a BB gun because he was throwing trash on his yard, and they were going back and forth, and it sounded like something that could become dangerous very quickly. I'm now wondering if this is Jake Paul's neighbor, but I don't think it is. Let's get to the update. Update on the vandalism. Thanks, Joel. To start, I didn't directly confront him. Instead, I put a box of light bulbs on his front porch. With it said a note about me apologizing for shooting out his lights and getting angry at him and vandalizing his property. It also stated that the reason I was getting mad was because he was throwing his trash in my yard. We live out in the middle of nowhere, so it really anything goes, but we have gotten along, and next week we have a hunting trip planned together. Turns that the trash was his dog getting into it only the first time and dragging it into my yard, so there's no dividing fence between mine and his yard. Again, thank you. We are not vandalizing each other anymore, but we agreed to pull non-vandalizing pranks on each other. Thanks again so much, your yard saver. Well, it sounds like a wonderful relationship is blossoming here. I'm glad you extended an olive branch to him, and now you guys are going on a hunting trip together. I'm sure he's a great guy. I would definitely, keep looking over your shoulder during that hunting trip. "Hey, Bob, I see a big buck right here." And then just murder you. Actually, deer aren't in season, so I don't know what you're going to be hunting. Like I said, hopefully he doesn't kill you. Maybe that's just me thinking negatively. This could go the complete opposite way. You said you're going to begin pulling non-vandalizing pranks on one another. I think that's kind of romantic. So maybe you guys are in the middle of nowhere, it gets cold at night, and stuff happens. Moving on, final update is from an episode a couple of months ago. I don't remember the title of the episode, but I remember this person's profile picture and username. He was saying that he had a job that he liked, but he was going to go to uni, or he wanted to go to uni, so he was going to have to leave this job, and he was worried about how his managers and coworkers were going to react. So I just wanted to give this brief update for anyone who has to deliver some bad news to people, and they're worried about how they're going to react. Update, thanks for the advice a few eps back. I've told my work about me heading to uni, and they're hella pissed, but I only have 2 weeks left, so fuck it. My managers are more or less not talking to me now, but all the staff really happy for me. What will be, I guess, but thanks for giving your take on my situation, Daddy Joel. So I don't even remember what I said, but there are a couple of times in your life, maybe more than a couple, when you have to give bad news to people, and just extending that period of waiting to give the bad news does not make it better. It's a huge relief when you deliver honest bad news if you have to. Obviously, like he said, his managers were upset, but he said, fuck it. You know, he's beyond that situation. He's moving on in his life. They'll get over it. His coworkers were happy for him. So that's all that matters. Let's go to today's first awkward situation. Today's first awkward situation says, hey Joel, longtime viewer from Cali here, and I love your videos. Anyways, here's my awkward situation. Recently, one of my best friends from high school that I still talk to invited me to her sister's wedding in December of next year, 2018. So note that this is a male and one of his best friends from high school is a female. She asked me to be her backup in case she doesn't find anyone to take. I have a girlfriend of 2 years and my relationship with my friend from high school is strictly platonic and have actually known her for almost 4 years now. I told my friends that's kind of weird since I would be spending a weekend in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, which I would say that's in the middle of the United States, but whatever, with someone other than my girlfriend, but she says to keep an open mind. I would like to know your approach to this situation. Do I talk to my girlfriend about being a backup for my friend? Do I not bring up the subject at all and don't consider anything? Or do I just go without saying anything to my girlfriend? I'm not a first choice to the wedding, just a backup. If I do accept, very rarely do I leave my state to do anything, let alone I've never spent more than one whole day together with my girlfriend. Thank you for taking the time to read this long-ass situation. Please smash the like button to get Joel's attention. I'll start with the advice first. I think this is a pretty simple one. I would not bring it up because this seems extremely hypothetical at this point. First of all, it's way in the future, and this person is just asking you to be a backup in case she doesn't get anyone. She might have just been making casual conversation. You're trying to converse with other humans in 2017, and it's extremely difficult because you're so used to talking to people in emojis, and when you actually have to open your mouth and make the talkie sounds to the person across from you, you just say random things sometimes. I deal with that myself. It's a struggle to converse with other humans that aren't behind a computer screen. But if it does materialize into something, then that's definitely a situation you're going to have to address. I can relate to this situation because my best friend and one of the only people that I talk to on a regular basis that I went to high school with is also a girl. Well, I would consider Megan my number one best friend, but my best friend from high school, she's also a girl. So we've had these situations come up before where she's got something going on in her personal life and I have to make sure that there's boundaries present that there wouldn't be for males. Not that we have any feelings for each other. It's strictly a platonic thing, and Megan understands that. She's been in my life as long as Megan has been in my life. They have known each other since the start of our relationship. By our, I mean Megan and I. So it's never been awkward, but it's also something that I am conscious of. And it's something that anyone should be conscious of when they're in a relationship, when they're dealing with other people, how it will affect a person they're in a relationship with. And you don't have to be overly sensitive about it or overly thoughtful. Like if I'm picking up a jar of creamy at the grocery store, creamy peanut butter that is, for those of you who are in the States, they're like, what can you buy at these American grocery stores? I'll have a creamy, please. You could get arrested for saying that. If I got a jar of creamy in my hand, I don't think to myself, man, if Megan sees this in the cupboard, will this be the ultimate betrayal? I mean, you live your life. But in certain situations, like the one you might be in, if this goes from a hypothetical to a reality, you have to take extra caution in your head and think about how your partner would feel when they hear about this thing that you're going to do with another female. Or what if the roles were reversed and she was going to Arizona with a man? The answer about how you would feel about that if the roles were reversed for you might be different than many of the commenters, because I can already imagine them in the comments saying, but maybe you would be okay with it. Megan and I have a very high level of trust between us, and we will sometimes go out with separate groups of friends. Maybe she'll go to a bar with her friends and guys hit on them, and that's okay. Or I'll go to the bar with my friends and no girls will hit on us, and we end up drinking and rehashing things that happened almost 10 years ago in high school. I'm telling you, bro, we could have won states in '09. I know we lost in the first round, but damn, we had a God squad. In closing, if this situation does become a reality, and if I was in your shoes, I would feel uncomfortable with this, and I would try to find a way to politely decline. Maybe I would have something going on that weekend that would not allow me to go on this trip. Maybe I wouldn't have the money for this trip. Maybe many other reasons that you can think of. You could just be honest, but you don't have to necessarily be honest. There's a lot of ways to get yourself out of this. It's totally your decision, totally how you feel, and I would think that your partner might feel uncomfortable with it too, but this is just a small window into your life. I don't have the full picture, you do. I hope you can figure it out. Second awkward situation says, hey Joel, awkward situation. I'm heading off to college in a couple of weeks. I just recently found out who my roommate was. Before I contacted him, I went on his Facebook page to find a video of him saying he wants to kill Jews and lock them away to never see the light of day. And I am Jewish, so I don't feel like this would be the greatest fit. That's an understatement. As if that was not bad enough, he appears to be an avid drug user and experiments with hardcore shit. I have contacted the school and they said they could change my roommate, however, it would cost me an extra $1,000. I feel as if I am being robbed just to ensure my security. I just don't know if I should contact him or call the school again to see if I can change, or if I should just not go and wait a year. I also don't want to bring a girl over and have him say some dumb shit and have her leave. I personally feel like this is going to ruin my whole college experience. Any help is appreciated, please, and thanks. Well, I feel like I'm not the best person to give you this advice for a couple of reasons. One, there were multiple people on my last episode that commented that I have a haircut similar to Hitler's. I can assure you, I don't have views similar to Hitler's in the slightest, but the haircut maybe is similar. Also, the majority of my audience is in their late teens to early 20s, so I've had a few comments in past episodes that have dealt with worrying about what your college roommate is going to be like because you don't know them as a person before you meet them, which is pretty standard in the United States. And my advice is, for the most part, always to give it a shot, because the roommate cannot be as bad as you were picturing, with rare exceptions. This is one of those rare exceptions. Despite what I've said in the past, I would do anything I can to get out of this situation. And before we go any further, I just gotta say, fuck your college. I don't know what it is, but what kind of shit motherfucking college charges an extra $1,000 for you to not room with an anti-Semite? If he had videos on Facebook saying, I love to kill college freshmen, would the rate be $1,500 for you to get out of that room? Because they'll charge you any extra cash that they can, and then when you graduate from a college, they will call you and ask if you want to donate to the alumni fund. Motherfucker, you own my life for the next 25 years. I'm going to be paying these debts until I have gray hair. I'm getting upset about this, and I don't even have student loan debt anymore. Megan does. So I guess by proxy I have student loan debt because our finances are together. I was lucky enough to be able to pay off my student loan debt, but I think it is ridiculous that colleges in the United States charge so much money for everything, and they're saying you are putting in a room request and you need to have an extra $1,000 be put up so you could not room with someone who is clearly not a match for you. I think what you need to do in this situation is escalate your claim of how badly you would like to be roommates with pretty much anyone else on campus, and you do that with proof. So hopefully he did not delete any of those things on his Facebook that exclaim that he would like to kill Jews or whatever other disgusting remarks he made. You can get back on his Facebook page, record videos, rip them somehow from Facebook and save them on a thumb drive, or you can print out what he has said and present that as evidence to the university. Because if I can play devil's advocate for this college, which I hate to do because I still am not a big fan of the university system and would prefer to side with the student on most things. If I had to play devil's advocate, I would say that they get these claims a lot, I would assume, especially if it's a large university. So their base tendency is to ignore them or to charge people and rip them off, which is fucked. But they don't take them too seriously, so you have to escalate the seriousness yourself. If you present the university with evidence that your roommate is a potential anti-Semite, I hope their first reaction would be to kick this person out of the school. I believe that colleges should have a diverse range of views, and I do worry about campuses becoming too politically correct in the United States and not being accepting of all views, but kill Jews or kill anyone is not an idea that should ever be accepted or tolerated by any logical, sane person in civilized society. So I don't think that person should be at the university to begin with. And they should kick the person out of the university, and then you'll get a new roommate by default because that person can't go to the school. However, at the very least, I would hope they would say, you know what, in light of this evidence that you have presented us with, these facts, we are going to waive this fee. If they do not do that, I would say, that's fine. I think I'm going to take this to the local newspapers and cause some serious ruckus. If you do take this to the local newspapers and you have a news story out, I would love to retweet it on my Twitter page with 400,000 something followers, that's mostly from a time where I was really growing on YouTube. So hopefully someone influential like Scarce or Keemstar sees it, and then we'll pick up some real heat on that story. But for the most part, I think that just the threat of doing that should fix this issue. Again, I hope you have evidence. If not, I don't want you to not go to school just because this guy is an anti-Semite. There's got to be some other workaround. Hopefully my plan A works. If you need a plan B and that doesn't work, come back and comment again. We can, as a community on this channel, brainstorm and try to figure something out. But you need to escalate this yourself, because this does not sound like a great situation, and I hope that's some decent advice with someone who has a quote-unquote Hitler Youth haircut. I'm trying really hard, guys. It's not a great hairline. I asked for the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and that's what I got. That one got my heart rate going. Let's go on to awkward situation number 3. Hey, nobody, to put it simply, one of my friends who I've known since I was young has become increasingly addicted at this point, and I'd say dependent on cocaine. All of my friends dabble with drugs. I personally don't, but can see the attraction, and we all openly tell him what we think, as it has come to the point where he is doing it 2 or 3 times a week. At first, I would just suggest he cut down, but now I openly tell him how stupid it is, and no approach seems to have an impact. He just shakes it off and partially denies it, as any addict does. What would you suggest? Also, just to add some context, we are both 17, and getting his parents involved would just get him kicked out and estrange me from everyone. I've said this before in awkward situations, but many situations that people comment look very simple from an outside perspective, and I can understand that if I was in the situation, it would feel a lot more complicated. However, if you're going to take my advice seriously and you're going to trust me and listen to me, I want to say that this is very simple. You will get his parents involved, or he will ruin his life. Even worse than ruining his life, maybe he will end his life, he will overdose, he will die, he will get into harder drugs. Things that are much worse than I will be estranged from him, or he will be kicked out of his house. My reaction as a parent would not be to kick him out of my house. It would be, how can we get you help? Maybe they've been trying to get him help. Again, I don't have full context with all of these situations, but I don't see a situation in which a human being that I've created that I've helped create, no ovaries down here. I just couldn't picture a situation in which I would give up on my child. So I hope that isn't the case, and I think that you are probably overthinking this. But again, we are not immortal. I remember thinking in high school, wow, everyone around me is immortal. And I mean, you don't explicitly think this. I don't think, wow, little Tommy over there has fucking superpowers. But you just don't think that kids your age can ruin their lives and or die, because it doesn't happen very often. You think that old people die. And it's something innate that you don't really, it doesn't come to your mind often until you're faced with that reality. And that happens sometimes in school, sometimes in high schools, someone that is younger dies. That happened in my high school, and I feel like it changed the perspective of some people who were close to him. It certainly changed my perspective. And I just want you to really think hard about what you're saying. I'd rather have a friend that hates me, that is getting his life together, than a friend who is buried in the ground, that I'm just standing over his grave saying to myself, wish I would have done something more, but I didn't because I was worried he would get mad at me. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm sorry if that comes off kind of harsh. I just want to be as direct as I can for this situation, and anyone dealing with any type of situation like this. There are worse things in life than someone being mad at you, and if you're a real friend, you would rather have them hate your guts, quote unquote, in their words, whatever they would say if you ruined their life. I mean, really ruining their life would be them killing themselves. That's being a good friend. Even if it means them not being a friend with you, doing the right thing, contact his parents, contact the proper authorities, whatever you can to get this kid off drugs. Everyone at home, don't do drugs, be safe. And I hope you get this situation resolved, man. On a lighter note, second to last awkward situation. I don't know if this is an awkward situation. I'm new to this, but I don't have a lot of confidence playing and wanting to play pickup basketball games because I get shy and awkward. I worry I'm not going to do well. Maybe if you would tell me how I can fix that, it would be much appreciated. Also, I have watched your videos before, example GTA 4 mods in COD and GTA 5, lol. Anyways, that and maybe more confidence for practice. I'm trying to go to the NBA, and maybe if you could help me and encourage and support me, work out and get into shape, speed practice, I would be really happy. 14 male, thanks NobodyEpic, aka Joel. I think this is really cool because I played basketball all throughout high school, and I had fun playing with my friends and people that were older than us. And I understand the feeling of not being confident and worried about not playing so well in front of older people. I guess I don't want to speak too much to what exactly you're worried about and not having confidence. Maybe just don't have confidence in general. But the only way you'll get better is by practicing. And take some old man Joel advice right now. I am 26 years old. You're 14. You have a great time in high school ahead of you, and then college, and who knows, your whole life ahead of you. And I regret not being confident in high school because I feel like I didn't get the full experience that I should have gotten simply because I was too afraid to try. This is a problem that plagues me to this day. I would rather not try than try and fail. And I don't think that's an uncommon thing. I think that happens to all humans. It's kind of a natural reaction when you're faced with challenging situations. But it's something that I wished I could avoid sooner. I've said this before, so I'm sorry for people who are around and they hear this and they get bored of these old stories. But I had a great time my senior year in high school because I was editor of the school newspaper. The first time I took newspaper was my senior year, and I was on the school television channel. The first time I tried to be in the class for the school television channel was also my senior year. I could have done both of these things as a freshman in high school, and I would have become a much better writer. I feel a more creative person, and I would have had a more fulfilling experience in high school if I had done these things as a freshman. However, I didn't attempt to do these things because I was worried about being judged by older kids, juniors and seniors, saying, hey, who's that weird tall kid? What's his weird sense of humor? All of this stuff that is so silly to me now because I have been removed from high school for almost 10 years at this point. I graduated in 2009, and I don't know any of those people anymore. I said earlier in this episode, I only talk to one person that I went to high school with on a regular basis still. I'm going to some weddings of some friends that I went to high school with. But you won't even know these people in 4 years. And that may seem like a long time to you, but I can guarantee you on the last day that you graduate high school, you're going to say, wow, that flew by. I don't know if you want to believe that or accept that, but it goes by so quickly. And I would pay large amounts of money to just go back to high school one day, maybe mess around in television class with some of my friends, and then even go to basketball practice after school. I hated basketball practice when I was in school. I just loved the game so much, but I didn't like practice. I would pay a large amount of money just to go to practice now. I still dream about those times. So I'm not saying that you can't have a great life after high school, but I'm just saying don't be afraid to try because you can't get it back. Even if you're a senior now and you're still worried to try, or even if you're a junior, don't say, well, it's too, Joel's giving this advice to a freshman, it's too late. No, it's never too late. Just take that leap, you know. Let me put my Casey Neistat sunglasses on and inspire you to do better. In the meantime, for more practical advice, I would recommend watching tutorials. Just always have a basketball around. A handle is good to be able to dribble the ball. You can get yourself out of a lot of sticky situations, so I would just always try to have a ball in your hand. If you want to go to your garage and just dribble for a couple of hours and listen to a podcast, that's a cool thing I think you could do now that I couldn't do back in the day. I used to listen to the boombox while I was outside shooting and dribbling, and I never really got a great handle. So I wish I would have put more time into it. I hope that you can get the confidence to try. Everyone has to start somewhere, and honestly, as an older kid, when I would see, or as an older male on the courts, I don't play pickup now. I wish I should play more. I guess I don't wish I play more because I could just go out and do it. But when I would play pickup a lot and I would see younger people playing with older people, even if they weren't spectacular, I would have respect for them because I know how difficult that is to try. And I think 99% of people would feel that way if you tried. So good luck, man. I hope you enjoy it. Don't take it for granted. Put in all the hard work, and you'll see some great rewards. This last awkward situation has been posted a couple of times, so I want to reply to this person so they know I saw their situation. I feel like I am repetitive, and this relates to things I've said in previous weeks, but I will cover it anyway. Hi, Joel. I have an awkward situation. Basically, I feel like I fucked up my whole life. I'm 21 years of age, and I haven't been in a single relationship. I haven't even kissed a girl. I feel like I completely skipped the whole 16 to 18 age, typically boy-girl shenanigans. So now I feel like I don't even know how to initiate a conversation with a girl, let alone perform relationship actions with her. So now I feel like I'm going to die alone and miserable. Any advice would be appreciated. Thanks in advance, Joel. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. I don't want to sound critical. I feel like I'm in this mood today where I'm hyper about stuff and overly critical. So I'm sorry if this comes off a little harsh, but I did want to point out to you that you contradicted yourself in the first 3 lines of your situation. You said, I feel like I fucked up my whole life, and I'm 21 years old. You're going to live for who knows how many more years. So you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, in which case I'm extremely sorry. Be sure to leave a like on the video before you die, you sick fuck, Joel. What is that? Thinking about yourself. No, I feel like you have a long time ahead of you, and you most likely do. Your whole life is going to be a lot longer than 21 years. And your 20s are a really fun time in your life. You have many, many, many great years ahead of you, even into your 30s. I haven't been there, but I'm going to be there soon. So I'll let you know how it is. I've heard great things. But your whole life is ahead of you. You have not fucked up your whole life. I was just discussing in the previous situation my regrets about high school, but for the most part, I had a great time in high school with some regrets, like you have. You wish you would have talked to more boys and girls. I wish I would have committed myself to basketball a little better and had a lot more fun in video production, and newspaper would have done them sooner. But the past is the past, and if you spend all day worrying about things you've done in the past, you are doing nothing to improve your future. So if you could just find some way to let go of that, find a hobby, think about something else, realize that what happened in the past is in the past, and move forward, you can start to enjoy your life. It's like you're sitting around thinking, man, I hope my life starts to get good. I've had a bad start. I'm just going to sit here and hopefully it gets fixed. I mean, you're asking me for advice, so I guess you're being a little bit proactive about it. You already want to make a change, so I would just say to make the change. Just, if you don't know how to talk to girls, I'm not big on this new age dating thing because I met Megan before Bumble and Tinder were a thing, but Bumble and Tinder are a thing. You can talk to people on the internet. I know many couples nowadays that meet on the internet. It's a very common thing. You could Google how to talk to a girl. That sounds really straight and dumb, but you would be surprised how many answers I get from the internet, guys, by just typing in dumb things because I thought to type it in. I'm in a group chat with my friends, and sometimes a person will have a question. They'll just drop it in there, and it's not always me, but someone will just simply Google it, and they'll be like, why didn't I just look that up? And you just have to look it up. I think it's partially that people get stuck on these things, and pushing yourself and making the improvement, which is something I am not great at, and many of us aren't great at. You just kind of need a little push in the back to go forward. Sometimes you're just standing there. You need someone to come up and push you. So let me be the person who's going to come up and push you. I'm going to fucking bully you. I'm going to punch you in the back. And that's a little weird. I'm not going to do anything to harm you physically. But I just want to advise you that you have not fucked up your whole life. I can guarantee you that. I read a lot of these situations. I don't know your entire life story, but if the worst thing that happened to you in your teen years is you feel like you missed out on a few relationships, you're better off than a lot of people. And I can't give you general advice on how to talk. I mean, I'm a fucking gamer. You know, I'm lucky I got a girl at home. I got lucky. But at the end of the day, you can make that improvement and you can fix your life. If anyone has comments on situations like this and you want to leave them below, he got a lot of upvotes. Actually, he posted this on the last episode. This is a screen cap I took from a couple of episodes ago when he only had one upvote, and then in the last episode he had like 300 upvotes. So I was like, all right, let me go back in my folder and comment on this because a lot of people were replying to him, and I wanted to put my 2 cents in that you're probably going to be around for a long time, but you're not going to be around forever. So it's on you to make a conscious decision to put forth the effort to try and fail. Something, once again, I struggle with myself. We all struggle with it. It's easier to not try and not fail than to try and fail. But the times when I do try and fail, I am more satisfied, I feel, afterwards, thinking about what I can do better, thinking about what I can improve on, than I am just sitting and thinking, well, I could have done it, but I didn't, so here I am, didn't fail, didn't succeed, I'm just kind of stuck here. So just try to go out there and try to improve, live your life, get some hobbies, get some girls, do whatever you can. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Awkward Situations. Let me know how you feel about the new format. It might not be permanent, but I'm going to edit it and see if I like it. I don't even know if I like it. I'm just messing around on the internet like all of you guys, doing whatever I can. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
And even though the drinks on bottomless, I remember where the bottom is. You ain't getting out of this. Remember when you doubted this? Now you motherfuckers ride a lot of dick. Ain't life by the bitch.